So just before I get started, just a brief explanation. I'm going to read a later chapter from the book. So this book, The Erstwhile Tyler Kyle, follows YouTuber and cryptid investigator Tyler Kyle as he is lured to an isolated island by a videotape of his presumed dead mother, and sort of finds that maybe there's something a bit more spooky going on the island. In the meantime, he's also kind of fleeing his co-host, that is the co-host of his YouTube show, the Mulder to his Scully in their team of like quote unquote investigators, after they had a kind of drunken makeout session, and his presumed straight co-host Josh sort of gay panicked, I guess, about it. So that's what's going on. You're also going to hear during this chapter, some speaking from an app called JoshBot. Basically, Josh, the co-host, as a Christmas present, made the soundboarding app for Tyler that sort of responds to Tyler's voice or things he says or stuff in the environment with kind of almost like canned responses that Josh might make from their show. So that's what he's talking to. And the last note, when I mentioned the moon, I'm actually talking about the name of a bar from the island. So that's what's going on. Awesome. So I'll just start. Chapter 5, What Music They Make. It's almost pitch black, with only pockets of light where a scarcity of working street lamps spotlight the cracked road. Wind gently bows the tops of the firs, and the sound of the tree trunks is like the creaking of an ancient ship on a calm sea. If you're going to run away, it's a beautiful place to run to. I've never minded the dark, not like Josh. Night is special. It smells different, like if cool had a scent. It's so quiet that when I pass the house of the woman I named Claudia, her open door swinging back and forth has the resonance of a thunderclap. I stop in the middle of the road, watching it thud against its jamb. As I approach, patchwork lawn crunches beneath my sneakers. What if she left the door like that on purpose? What if she turns the corner and I freak her the fuck out? Hello? I holler. No answer. I turn around and stop. Claudia's all the way at the end of the road, walking toward the moat in the forest in a flimsy white nightgown, alone and plowing toward the water in the woods beyond. I've never been scared of demons or aliens or cryptids of any kind, but those hidden roots will do a number on you, especially if you're as out of it as our sleepwalker. So I suck it up and I run after her. The water should wake her once she hits it, but what if it doesn't, and then not only am I the asshole who killed Discovery Bank for Josh and all our fans, I'm the human excrement who watched a woman drown herself. I run for the bank. Claudia nearly trips as her skin makes contact with the water. Believe me, I can tell. You know that feeling. Like someone's wound an ice-hot wire between where your skin is above and below the water, and your torso might actually slide off your bottom half, and your balls retreat so far it's like they're soldiers in Napoleon's army, and winter's just hit Moscow, and oh god, you're all destined to become tragic human cannibal popsicles. Sorry, history nerd. She shudders like that, and even though I'm winded, I keep going, because fuck, if something was ever wrong, this is it. She's either so asleep she doesn't notice, or so depressed she doesn't care, and neither is a state in which you go wandering in the forest alone. For a second, she's gone, but then she's up and walking again, striding unevenly into the forest as her probably bare feet tread on roots and rocks and those rigid spikes of grass that are almost as bad as Legos. I've spent a lot of time in the forest. I dare to look at the moon. I could race back, grab help, but it only takes minutes for someone to get lost in the woods. I'm her best shot. I reach the moat, but the blackness between the trees has swallowed her whole. Or maybe it hasn't, and it's just that I can't see shit. My sneakers wobble atop the peak of the mound before the dip leading to the moat, and I reach for my phone for the flashlight function. The sudden glare is blinding.
Welcome to JoshBot, Tyler Kyle. Your one-stop shop for not being a douchebag misanthropist.
It's misanthrope, actually, I blurt without thinking. Because, okay, at this point, if you're lost on the fact that I blurt things without thinking, there is no hope for you. After I've white mansplained JoshBot, I flick past the app to the settings, hit the flashlight, and immediately the black water of the moat churns in front of me like it's filled with anthropophagus eels. Anthropophagus is man-eating, for those who hate search engines and also don't want to be spanked on the OnlyFans. The water looks deep, but then, it's night. A 60 or 70-year-old sleepwalker just waded across and was fine. I'm an able-bodied 30-year-old man. I can handle it. I skid on my way down the small slope, then charged right in because, again, no self-preservation.
Ty, are you dead? You haven't said anything in half a minute.
Joshbot's still on, but my balls are chilling like the Grand Armée, and I'm fighting to hold onto my phone. Waist-high water sucked in all the sunlight summer had to offer, and it's still frigid.
Ty, I can't hear you. Ty.
I flash the light across the trees ahead of me. Its yellow-white beam doesn't illuminate much beyond the bank. There's no sign of Claudia. The creak of the trees is still the only sound. Maybe I should be making more noise so she hears me. I amp up the volume on Joshbot so next time it speaks, it might wake Claudia. The base of the moat is soft and squishy beneath my sneakers. As I push against the water, reaching the midway point, large, sharp rocks nick my shoes.
Earth to Tyler,
prods Joshbot's tinny voice. Maybe I should drop the phone in the water. I'm fine, I say, because that might shut him up. Only I don't want him to shut up. I need him to talk. Ogopogo is bullshit and all the witnesses were drunks or evil capitalists? I can sense its motors chugging.
Where's your joy? You have absolutely no magic in your life, Tyler. It must feel awful being you, seriously.
I build up a little speed, skipping and floating toward the shore. Getting up the other side of the slope is a scramble. If I thought it was dark on the island, if I thought it was darker near the shore, then it's darkest in the woods. Full-on Blair Witch with branches and pine cones and needles all fighting for their chance to scratch me. I shove the branches away, sucking back the sting when they slap my face. After marching a few feet, it's clear this is a hopeless cause. The balsams and spruce are too dense, and Claudia's gone too far for me to find her by bulldozing through. Better to listen. There's all kinds of noises in the woods when you really listen. Owls, the rustle of small mammals, the groaning of the trees. They're all quiet, soft noises, sounds that manage to coexist happily without canceling each other out. If you stand still, you can hear sticks snapping underfoot pretty clearly. I hear sticks snapping underfoot pretty clearly.
What was that?
Asked Joshbot. I'm impressed my phone's microphone is that powerful. It's nothing.
I'm pretty sure nothing doesn't make a sound like that, Ty. Pretty sure nothing doesn't make a sound at all. That's kind of the point.
Yeah, but I'll give you that. But if the something's a raccoon or a squirrel or a lady with night terrors, I still get my point. Or feral dogs. That's something I didn't consider. The pack from earlier would have been much louder, though. The crack I'm hearing is too measured, too human. I hang my neck back and stare at the patches of sky, hoping for stars, but it's only void. I peer behind me in the direction I think I came from, but I know from reading too many survival stories that however close I am from where I came, I'm still a hair's breadth away from becoming another doomed hiker found mummified in the hills 10 years later. If I wanted, if I were smart, I could turn back and probably find the moat. But I'm not smart, not really, and if I leave now, it could take a search party hours to find Claudia, if they ever do.
Ty, say something. It can be anything.
Anything. Crack. In the distance, at least I think in the distance, there's a low-frequency rumble. Something like a bike engine, but throatier. A vibration I can feel in my feet. There must be a generator out here. I try to fix on its direction so I can walk toward it, but the sound's omnipresent. The footsteps of a giant.
Can I hold your hand?
Asked Joshbot.
Not in a gay way. In a friendly, camaraderie way?
Oh, I wasn't expecting this bullshit. I stomped through the trees, my commitment to stealth abandoned, the strength of my footsteps fueled mostly by anger. Fuck you, robot Josh. The forest has gone silent, except for the generator sound. It's like the weighty hum as the orchestra's starting up, but before they open the curtains, like a video on mute when you thought you'd hit the sound. White-barked branches spear out of the darkness, thicker packed than they were near the island. One of them slices my shoulder and I gasp, flinching back, nearly impaling myself on yet another branch. Josh chooses this moment to grace me with its flirting.
Tyler, I'm serious, man. Can I just...
No! I didn't know you could cut off a program, but it turns out you can if you're the erstwhile Tyler Kyle. Explorer, adventurer, failed saver of wandering Claudias, and talker to himself. Fuck it, I'm turning you off. Joshbot laughs.
But you only ever turn me on, Ty.
That's the face I make. Picture that word as a face. I turn Joshbot off. Claudia will have to make do with me. Hey, I call. I've been too slow, that's the problem. If I speed up, I can find her. I wasn't that far behind. But in the darkness, where your mind isn't at its most sensible, my brain starts asking questions like whether I could have imagined Claudia, or what if the figure I saw was someone tending their backyard and I missed them going back inside? What if I'm walking because I don't ever know when to stop? Josh jokes I could walk halfway around the earth and not even notice, and he's not wrong. Another branch rakes my side while one more buffets my forehead. I turn toward the sound, or where I think it came from. That's one of the true dangers, that I'll head off following wildlife by mistake. The thought adds another layer of potential tragedy to my future biography. Tyler Kyle confesses unrequited love to friend hours before vanishing forever into the woods and presumed suicide. Today we talked to the last person to see him alive. Tell us, Queen C, what did he do during his last few minutes as part of civilization? My toes are wrinkling in my waterlogged sneakers. My chest feels tight and cold. Every step is a crunch and a squelch, hardly graceful. Claudia? My flashlight planes across a bright white figure in the woods. When I raise the light again, I can't find her. Oh, come on. Hey, woman in white? There's no movement, and by that I mean not only that I see nothing besides darkness and trees, but that I hear nothing. My sneaker snags on hard metal, and I go flying. My knee slams down on a perfectly flat slab, pain ricocheting up my leg to my hip, but I catch myself with my palms. I ease myself into a crouch. The phone is face down, glowing beneath some shrubs. I grab it and beam its light over the raised metal square that tripped me. It's an access hatch. Groove letters are embossed on the surface. Dan 425. I'd say a biblical reference if sewer contractors were known for signing their work in Old Testament. There's a handle, but when I give it a tug, it doesn't budge. Welded or rusted shut. No way Claudia accidentally opened it and fell in. But at least if there's an access tunnel out here, I can't have got that far from Echo Island. And maybe to explain the generator's rumble, the one that's got louder as I walked. 7:30, fingers dirty, dig into the soil thick. It's a woman's voice, the rest of what sounds like a poem mumbled and lost to the forest. Those first words were the ones Mom spoke in the video. 7:30, fingers dirty. I'm on my feet, following the sound of her voice, my aching knees barely registering. I shine the flashlight back and forth like a siren. The beam lights up Claudia like she's an angel glowing at the hellmouth. Her brown hair turned yellow, almost as pale and bright as her nightdress. She's got her back to me. Hello? I don't want to startle her by slinking up unannounced. Maybe she's got Alzheimer's. If she sees me suddenly, she could bolt. But Claudia doesn't even turn around. She sways from side to side the way Josh's pet rats do when they can't see but know something's in front of them. And there is something in front of her. Flat gray wall. Could be some kind of power station related to the access hatch. If I'm lucky, it's unlocked and there's a phone inside. I try to make as much noise as I can, but it's no use. A shape darts through the trees to my left, real fast like a wolf, but bigger, taller. Probably an owl my sleep-deprived brain misinterpreted. My heart thumps nearly to the rhythm of that fucking generator. 7:30, fingers dirty, she repeats. Leaves rustle ahead of us to Claudia's left, and it's a big enough patch that unless this is the king of the owls we're talking about, it has to be something larger. Claudia? I reach for her. The sound radiates through me. I can practically feel the vibrations in my eardrum. 7:30, fingers dirty, 7:30, fingers dirty, 7:30, fingers... My hand clamps down on her shoulder. Claudia screams. She lunges at me. Her nails rake my cheek, drawing blood. I hold up my hands defensively, and her fist hits my phone, hits the flashlight, sends it flying. She throws me to the ground, and my head narrowly misses a small log and probably serious brain injury. Hey, I groan. She's standing above me, feet splayed, staring into the woods and swaying. 7:30, fingers dirty, 7:30, fingers dirty. Yeah, I know, your watch is off and I'm out of handkerchiefs. Her refrain lowers to a whisper. My phone's screen flashes. It's not far. I reach for it, careful not to make any sudden movement so She-Hulk doesn't decide to stomp my face into the ground. Claudia starts up again, seemingly knocked out of the repetition by the sound of the phone. The trees are calling. I need to go out to the trees. Well, I got great news for you, Claudia. I pull the phone over, jab the flashlight button, and then there was light. And he saw that the light was not good at all because it glances off the eyes of whatever animal rustled the leaves earlier, and, well, I thought only black bears live this far east, but that thing has got to be a grizzly because its eyes are really far up, even considering it's about 20 feet from us. No. Don't be a Josh. It's in a tree. Whatever owns those glowing headlamp eyes is in a tree. Do you know what climbs trees and is surprisingly limber? Bears. I didn't know I could stand up as fast as I do. I grab Claudia by the shoulder and haul her as hard as I can back the way I think I came, and personally, I'm impressed I managed that fucking much. Claudia swings at me and misses. Behind us, the bear is trampling undergrowth, branches, whole trees by the sound of it. The entire forest is cracking to kindling in its path, and it wasn't that far away to begin with. The generator sound is like waves crashing right next to me, only now it's joined by this high-pitched nasal shriek, the sound of rutting elks. One or both of me and Claudia is screaming. I'm leaping over roots and logs, struggling to drag her along. There's this show, I Survived, that Kayla's a big fan of. In it, guests who've overcome extremely traumatic, usually violent events share their stories. I guess it's uplifting hearing how all these little Davids managed to fell their respective Goliaths. Sandra escapes a serial killer who trunked 18 women before her. Rick and Sydney beat the home invader who turns out to have been their murderous landlord. McCarty avenges herself on the whitest parents in America for her war crime of a name. I wouldn't put my money down on me joining their numbers, all I'm saying. In the distance, there's a fuzzy electric glow. The bear screeches, so maybe it is an elk. But who really gives a fuck? Because it's bearing down on us and Claudia's pulling so hard she's threatening to dislocate my arm. The vibrations from the generator, the screaming of the elk, the rumbling of the ground beneath our feet as if something huge and hungry is chasing us. It's a sound I don't just hear, but feel. And I do trip on a branch. I lose my grip on Claudia and she flies backwards as I fall. There's a thunk, the thunk boom, and for one desperate second I think that the thunk booming is me and I've fallen and a sex-mad elk has speared me with his antlers and decapitated me. I'm dying, accompanied by the background music of my own head rolling across the forest floor. The generator sound's gone now, and I can hear normal forest noises again. The elk, or bear, is nowhere to be heard. I turn around and, oh hey, that pile of logs wasn't there before. A woman groans from beneath them. Claudia's pinned on one of the logs, in what must have been someone's booby trap. Claudia? I kneel beside her. Her right leg's completely buried, but her left is free. She heaves, using her arms to try and drag herself free. I swear I can hear her flesh scraping against bark like nails on a chalkboard. I fight the urge to vomit, close my eyes, drink in the calm, ordinary, normal night sounds. What was it I said? The night is special? The sounds of the trees are like an ancient ship creaking on a calm sea. Words from another time, an earlier, more instant hour. And the generator is back. Fuck, let me help. I cup the log at one end, grinding my waterlogged shoes into the dirt for leverage. Claudia reaches to help, and embarrassingly, her push is what rolls it off. Her scream is more like a growl, low and with teeth, but her leg looks... there's a stick poking through it. Just above the bone, so that her skin puffs out in an unnatural curve. I scramble to her side and slip my hands under her armpits to pull her away, but the stick I thought was free-floating is still attached to a buried log. When I try to snap it, it's too elastic. I'm 99% sure the elk are what's making the low-frequency sound, which means we have very little time. I'm not going to outrun the stampeding cervid in his own backwoods. We need to get out of here, Claudia. I move to help her. Claudia swats my shoulder. No, you leave me be, young man. And who's Claudia? Her tone isn't what I'd expect from a woman with a beat-up leg with bears hunting her through the woods in the middle of the night. I can't leave you be because we're being chased and you're injured. My name's Mary, says Claudia. Mary, right. Nice to meet you. We're still being chased. Mary scoffs. Are you Fergie's boy? I stare at her. Did Comrade Uphill tell you that? She waves her hand. Connie didn't tell me nothing I can't see with my own eyes. You've got her look. She nods, matter of fact, assessing me. But that hair looks Jewish to me. I have no idea how to respond to that, so I don't. Should I be offended, or would being offended be offensive given that I know zero about my mom's sperm donor? The rumbling is getting closer again. And am I crazy, or is it multivalent now, like there's more than one and the sounds are echoing in and out of each other? I clamp a hand over my ear, but it does nothing to stop the reverberations of my bones. I move to slip my arm under Mary's shoulder, but she pushes me off. We need to go, I say. I'll try and carry you. My arms are fucking shaking. Fuck, this is not good. Do you have a knife? Mary asks. In the distance, trees crack. I glance up at the darkness, patting my pocket. Yeah, I do. I stutter. I grab my pocket knife and flick it open. What the fuck is this going to do against a bear? My hand is sweaty against the handle. I didn't realize my palms were so sweaty. Good, says Mary, in a tone that's distinctly teacherly. Now cut my leg open. What? Mary grimaces to the sound of breaking trees. She reaches toward her leg, having to yell to be heard. Just cut the skin away. Skin grows back. Heads don't. What? Fuck. Fuck, fuck, fuck. The Nazgul screech returns, and I can't move. I can't move. I can't move. Fuck,
Tyler, you're an asshole.
says Joshbot, helpfully. Mary grabs my arm, calm as an ancient ship creaking on the sea. She stabs my knife into her leg and slashes. Deep. Blood sprays across my face, and I'm blinded. It's in my nose, dripping down my face, my lips. I taste her blood in my mouth. I drop the knife and throw up. Pick me up. Mary sounds so stern, so in control. How? She didn't even scream. Her blood is pouring out. It's on in my... I puke again. Wipe my mouth, wipe my face, clear the blood away, or spread it around, or... I heave. This time I keep it in. I let out a whine instead. I reach for her, holding out my phone's flashlight, shaking, forcing myself to examine the wound. It's gaping and red, like a big crescent grin cut in her skin, revealing raw red muscle. The branch is still on top of her, covered in the flap of discarded skin she forced me to slice away. I grimace and tug her out from under it. We need to bind it, right? For blood loss? I pat her nightie, try to tear it. My arm is rattling. Fuck, I'm a wreck. I can't even tear her dress, so I reach for my shirt and tear that instead. I point at her leg. Lift it up. She obeys, and I wind my shirt tight around the injury. You're doing fine, Tyler, says Mary. She pats my hand. I'm pretty sure I'm crying. I'm not doing fine at all. I'm complete shit, actually. I'm going to carry you, I say. Giving myself a command makes the tunnel vision of my panic recede a little. When I stand, I pan the flashlight over the woods. The trees are filled with eyes. 15 feet off the ground, all around us. They don't even blink. This time, they're completely silent. When I stare into the perfect white circles, it's like a movie hypnotist is swinging a pendulum back and forth, back and forth. They're creeping in, twigs cracking beneath even their tenderest footsteps. The generator rumble starts again, almost like a very low warbling deep in the throat. The sound is followed by a sharp keen, the screech of before, and then a breathy huffing, like someone whispering, hey, 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 right in your ear. Hey, 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 stay right where you are. I want you to stay right there. Hey, 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 that's right. That's right. Be good. Be good, baby doll. Just like that. Chapter 6. It's all in the eyes. Mary punches my leg. I feel it like a pea beneath 100 downy pillows. The glow of the bear's eyes is so beautiful, so peaceful. And how bad would it be, really, to be devoured? To know your small death would feed an army of forest critters. And what other meaning could I hope to find out there in the big scary world, being alive? Living is hard. It takes so much effort. To die, all I have to do is stand here and wait. And beautiful. Dear God, will it be beautiful. Jaws clamped around my neck. The beat, beat, beat of my heart. The beat, beat, beat. The beat, beat, beat of my heart. The beat, beat, beat of my heart. The beat, beat, beat. Hey. The jaws closing. The puncture of thin skin. The pulse of blood down the neck. Claws raised to swipe open my chest, my ribcage, my heart. Swipe right for supper. And I'll melt over time into the earth and the pine needles, diffused into roots and moss. And the trees will sing songs of me, and the words they make will sound like, hey, hey, hey. Chapter 6.5. Running.
Ty, are you dead? You haven't said anything in half a minute. Ty, I can't hear you. Ty. Earth to Tyler.
Hard nails sink into the calf of my right leg and then pull. I slam onto the forest floor and the wind's knocked out of me. The ground is rough, the spikes of the pine needles sharp. The revelation of texture is like the moment when the camera focuses and everything is detail. I groan, remembering where I am and whose hand is scrabbling at my poor soaked sneaker. Mary. Her sigh of relief is audible. You need to listen, Tyler. You're in shock, but everything's going to be perfectly all right as long as you do what I tell you. I close my eyes, listening to the generator rumble. I am listening. I feel calm, actually. It's Kind of weird. Maybe it's bad weird. Maybe that's a symptom of shock. Mary is snapping her fingers. She hisses, Tyler Kyle. Uh-huh. Listen, you need to get up and carry me. We're going to walk out of the woods now. Can you hear the dogs? I can hear barking. Yeah. They're coming from town. Run toward them. I stumble to my feet, start to turn around and look at the trees again. She punches my foot. I thought we were walking. I hoist her up. She's somehow both lighter and heavier than anticipated. She pats my shoulder and smiles. I lied. Something creaks behind me and I turn. Hey, hey, hey. Mary slaps me. Don't look at the trees. But I want to look. I have to look. I can hear the bears creeping toward us, the crack of branches, the rustle of bushes. It's so dark with my cell in my pocket. The dogs are barking wildly. I squint and make out the shape of at least 2 packs of them, cavorting toward us. I don't have to turn around to know the bears are receding. The rumble has changed, a retreating sound, I guess. I don't blame them. I want to run away from those dogs too. Instead, I run toward them. It'd be nice to say that this time I'm more careful, but there's no room for careful when you're covered in blood, bolting for civilization-ish, praying there's a doctor who can see to the nice old lady who's been very patient while you almost accidentally let her bleed out, in very real danger of being eaten by bears or elk or whatever they are, and feral dogs are careering towards you like they're Tanya Harding and you're Nancy Kerrigan and you're the only thing standing between them and that Olympic gold. Fortunately, the dogs don't baton me in my leg. 2 groups of dogs part to either side of me as I run. Like Mary and I are the prow of a ship piercing the waves. They veer left and right, and then we're past them. Their yaps are met by the shrieking of the elk. Branches scream past. Mary's arms loosen around my neck. I jostle her to snap her awake, and she raises her head slightly. She was so grounded before that I half forgot she was the one in real danger. That the blood on my face that I've been cracking nervous jokes about belongs inside her body. Things like this are why I'm an asshole. Almost there, Mary. I have no idea how close we are, or if I've been turned around and I'm thudding deeper into the vast acres of forest between Echo Island and the real world. Talk to me, Mary. I stop briefly, surveying the woods. I'm in the tightly packed conifers again. She clutches the neckline of my shirt, as though for comfort. I'm very sleepy, Tyler, dear. That's not good. So you knew my mom? I pick a direction and resume running. We used to meet for bridge every Friday, says Mary. I trounced her every time. She laughs. I wish I could laugh. I wish it felt good like it should. The first piece of solid information about my mom since I got here, and it's from a woman who's dying in my arms while we exit, pursued by a bear. Do you remember playing bridge together? Mary asks. And for a second I think she spaced out again, that she's confused me with Virginia Kyle. But then I realize she means do I remember playing with Mom, and yes I do remember. I'd forgotten, I say. Is that water in the distance? Please, fuck, let it be water. Even a stream. I could follow a stream. She talked about you all the time. Mary chokes up a bit. Or is it only that she's about to pass out? Called you her baby doll. The last thing she wanted was for you to turn up here. Huh. Right. Talked about me all the time after abandoning me. Prayed I'd never come looking. Perfectly normal, sane, maternal behavior. I've always known what she did was wrong. I've always known I should be angrier than I was. Instead of anger, there's an empty space I tiptoe around. I've made room for it in my thoughts. Too much room. Too much I just don't think about, and too much mental energy expended thinking about not thinking about it. Well, I'm here, I say. So where's she? Mary doesn't speak. We burst onto the top of the ditch, and I wobble dangerously above the moat. I roll my feet back as much as I can, catching my back against a tree. I close my eyes, breathing out hard. I could cry again, or puke, or both. I don't, though. I plunge toward the moat. And Claudia, Mary, sighs. I'm so sorry, dear. She rubs my back as we wade across, and I know, from deep within that empty hole in my thoughts, from the way she says it, the same way Josh says we need to talk about the show, what the next words out of her mouth will be. She died 2 years ago. She's buried in Arcadia. Some days, it's like the depths want to plumb me. There's an ache in my chest like I've swallowed a bucket of wood chips. A finality, maybe a hopelessness. What am I doing here? What did I think I'd find? How? The water drags at my legs as we pass the halfway mark. Stroke, Mary says. It was very quick. Her palm is warm and kind as it paints faint circles on my back. This woman who knew my mother longer than I did, who shared her final years, bent over a bridge game every Friday night. Bergie Kyle, B-movie bombshell and cult darling, wasting away in the middle of the forest with no audience to light her up. It's not the mom I remember, but then the mom I remember wasn't real to begin with. We make the shore and I start hiking up the bank. I'll take you to the doctor. Which way? Mary's passed out against my shoulder. Fuck. Okay, where am I? Alumbian Rivers, where I started. If my earlier guess was right, I'll find stores and other amenities closer to Uphill's mansion at the center of the island. I bolt up the road. As I enter the range of one of the street lamps, my arm glistens red where Mary's wound now lies open. My shredded t-shirt must have drifted off in the moat, and she's been bleeding out all over my arm for fuck knows how long. The wound looks pale, dead meat on a butcher's block. Sneakers slap the road behind me, slowing to a jog. I speed up on instinct, but a woman calls out, "Hey, wait!" I swerve round, clutching Mary to my chest. It's a beautiful blonde from the moon, no longer in a red dress, but wearing sweats and a pink bomber jacket. Help me, I swallow. Mary's hurt, and there were bare things. The blonde's already taking Mary's legs, hefting probably more than half Mary's weight. Let's get her to the moon. They'll call for Connie. I swallow a gag, clutching Mary tight under her shoulders, ready to collapse. Me and the blonde hurry up the road. The lights are still on inside the Thunder Moon. A recording of Baby One More Time blasts within from male vocal cords. I give Mary a light slap on the arm, then a harder one when she doesn't respond. Her eyes snap awake as I shove open the bar door. The place is almost emptied out. No Queen C on stage, no crowd. At the sight of Tia, Nora, Jean, and about 5 strangers all clustered at the bar, I almost collapse. Almost. The blonde takes up the slack, and we lay Mary on a table. I stand there, shaking, wanting to fall or sit or fucking faint, but unable to stop standing. Help, I say. The music on the radio cuts off, and Tia and Nora rush to catch me. And that is the end.